We have to finish our bathroom renovation, so today we're going to be making trim. Previously, we finished the walls and put up our corner trims. These corner trims are just ripped down 2x4s. I ripped them down to 1x1, put a beveled edge on it, nailed them in the corner. It was that simple. Now that our corner trims are done, it's time to get the crown molding, the baseboard, all that other trim started. We're going to be doing this trim in multiple batches because it's kind of a complex room and we don't have our door yet. So you're standing in the doorway of the bathroom. Since we don't have a door, I can't do door trim, and that kind of holds me up on some of the baseboard. I'm just going to get done what I can right now. So it's not about making it look pretty, it's just about getting it covered. Okay? Working our way up, keeping the edge wet where we're working. Keep going. We're working quick.
Yep. Perfect.
Okay. Perfect. I'm just going to rub it where I'm touching it with my fingers and where it's looking really dry. So right now the stain is soaking in. And looking very rich. And all you're doing is taking the excess off. We found this awesome little molding at the store that was marked down, and it's going to fit our design perfectly because we're actually doing an egg and dart pattern on our bathroom, on the electrical outlet covers. Get this end before you get too far away. I mean, it's kind of fine the way it is right there. I think it'll look good once we get the finish on it. I feel like that's good. The varnish is all dry. I'm ready to hang these on the wall, but look how cool these came out. The color is beautiful. The finish is pretty nice. and I can't wait to see them on the bathroom wall. It's going to be awesome. This board is designed to cap this wall right here. Let me get it in place. That's all I'm putting in it. Just a couple nails. Alright, the next piece is another simple one. Look at this. And I'm actually going to be putting that bevel on the outside to soften the corner around the shower. And it's going to attach right here. Oh, I hope I didn't make it too long. I know this is where a lot of people, they pull out the brad nailer. I have a brad nailer. Puts in little fine nails. Makes a smaller hole than the finish nailer that I'm using. I don't like a brad nailer for 3/4 inch trim because the nails are too small to hold it adequately, in my opinion. Now I'm trying not to get too carried away with the nails, but I do tend to put too many in. I just don't want this wood warping or anything. This one I really could do with brad nails, but let's keep going. Probably should have checked for fit before nailing that in. Well, we'll have to just pluck it out. It's okay. Now, since I already have a nail flying through this thing, I'm just going to grab it on the back and I'm going to pull it through the wood until we get it to pop out the back end here, because I'd rather damage the back than to push it through the front and make that hole worse. Now this one's pretty easy, it's just straight across, but I did bevel, I don't know if you can see it, but I beveled the top of this trim so that it would sit against that sloped ceiling properly. And cleanly. We have another angle, and then it goes straight, and these aren't as hard to figure out as you think. And all I had to do is, I know that our roof is 22.5 degrees, so that's the slope of our roof. So I cut this at 22.5, and that gives me a flat against the wall. This goes up along the roof. And then when it straightens out, basically, since this was 22.5, this angle to make these meet flat and the same size is half of that, so it's going to be 11.25. So I cut each of these at 11.25 degrees. 22, 11.25. This one ought to confuse you, so check this out. Hi.
Hi.
I have to do something unique here because the toilet goes so low, it's going to hit the trim that we want. So, that's not going to stay like that. Wait until you see the finished product. Check out how cool this trim looks next to the shower. And I hope you can see it. But basically, we disguised those cracks by making them stand out. And then, just adds a little bit of interest here to this wall. So right now I'm working on this trim move right here. I'm going to use a Forstner bit, but this one is dull. This is going to be for the shower spout. And I hope it cuts okay because it is dull. I need a new one. That is dull. Boy, it's not even cutting. Now, I would normally never use a rough cutting bit like this, a big spade bit, on finish work. Oh, am I going to regret this? I hope not. Bad idea. Really bad idea. Dumb idea. See, this has a spiral, like it has a screw tip on it, and it's supposed to pull through the wood. I thought to myself, if I hold it down, maybe it'll be fine. Nope. Nope. Let me experiment with something. I already messed this board up. Not gonna hurt anything now. Since I already made this hole so terrible looking, maybe I'll just upsize to my next size Forstner bit, and it's going to be too big. Well, we ended up with a clean hole after all. It's about 4 sizes too big, but it'll be okay. You can see how you could attach that to a piece of wood. Give it a little depth and flare. It's exactly what we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
Maybe you just can't handle it.
You know that sound? Do?
Yeah, of course.
Do you like working?
I like working and I like relaxing. The stain is dry, and now before we clear coat it, I'm going to take this decorative trim that we made and I'm going to be attaching it to the wood like this. Now I'm using my brad nailer because this trim work is fine trim work. We need fine nails. Last night we finished up all that little fine detail trim. We patched the nail holes and we stained the filler. So now it's pretty well blended. We're going to be moving on to clear coating, then installing. I've been working hard behind the scenes to get this trim installed, and it is looking awesome. I can't wait to share it with you guys. So let's take a look and see how that bathroom is coming out. So you can see we have our baseboards in, looking sharp all the way around. We have our end wall trim. I did install trim around the heater box. This is a wall heater meant to mount high on the wall, and there will be a heater installed in there and a cover soon. We got that. We got all the crown molding done. I know this piece is a little bit lighter than the rest, just stained up a little bit differently. But check out the window back here. This came out really cool. Now it's a little bit smudgy. We have to shine it up because I was putting some hole filler on the nails, and I mean you can't see the nails. And coming around here, the hole for our shower head. Look how cool this all came out. Now this little trim really does the trick. That's what I was looking for. Something simple, but adds some detail. I like this trim too because it helps break where these join. Neat. So we decided to do this chunky wide trim around the window because it just made sense to match it to the corner, to the shower. So then we carried that same width around the bottom, and it worked at the top. Even though it's a small window, I kind of like that fat trim. It really looks cool. There's one more thing I should mention, is that when we installed this trim, we tried something new because we didn't want to deal with getting caulk all over our trim work when we were done. So we went caulk free and put a rubber gasket in here instead, and it worked pretty good. What we did was, before installing the trim, we took this Auto Marine rubber weather seal. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it's just a squishy rubber strip, and it's got a sticky backing. And what I did was I just put it along, I stuck it right to the trim to create a rubber gasket, and then we pushed it against the shower. Honestly, so far it worked great. Long term, who knows, but it's an experiment. The only thing is, I wish I got a thinner one because it was so hard to squish. It feels very loose when you're pushing it out in one spot, but when you have to push the entire length of the trim against the shower, it was actually hard to compress that much foam all at once. I had to use my clamp to spread it and push it against the shower. So I wish I got the smaller one, but we kind of forced it into place and it works. And now we have a long-lasting foam rubber seal around our shower just to keep water and dust out and make it look nicer without dealing with messy caulk. Now we haven't done this baseboard yet because we don't have the door, so we have to put the side pieces for the door in first. And obviously this is not finished. We're going to finish all this. In fact, none of the baseboards in this room are done. Let me show you what we're going to do. So imagine here that this is the baseboard in the bathroom. It's just a simple 1x4. This is called a base cap, and I made this on my router. It's not perfect. This was just a test run to see how it was going to look. And I like it. It's a little bit sloppy. I have to make it nicer. Basically, this is going to go right on top of our baseboard to make it decorative. Now the reason we're doing a base cap is because it makes the most sense, especially in an older house. Now, we have a lot of existing baseboard that we're probably going to keep when we renovate the rest of the house. So how do we make that look nice without replacing it? Just by adding a topper, and that's what the base cap is. But also, if your walls aren't even, if you have plaster walls or drywall even, but if your walls aren't even, your baseboard may end up with gaps behind it, unevenness on the wall, and it can be hard to form a thick baseboard to the wall. But it's a lot easier to form a base cap to the wall. So what you do is you just put your baseboard in, nail it however it wants to sit, and the base cap is smaller and it can contour to the wall and it'll close up all those cracks. That's why it's kind of nicer to use a separate base cap molding rather than just a full baseboard with a decorative edge built in. I hope that makes sense. So anyway, we're going to be capping all the baseboards in here and that spot along the floor under the toilet with that base cap, and it's going to look really finished and really cool when it's all done. Now that step won't come until the entire master suite is done, and that means the entryway has to be completely finished, this bedroom has to be completely finished, all the wood done, and that's only because I don't feel like swapping out my router bits right now. I decided to go ahead and keep making tongue and groove boards. There's really no rush on getting the baseboard trim finished because I have to do it for all 3 rooms. So after all the rooms are done, all the trim is done, the last thing we do to finish the space is base caps. And we'll do that, enough of them for all 3 areas. That was a big job. That took us longer than it should have. First we had to plan the trim, how we wanted it to look. Then we had to make the trim, then we had to finish the trim, and it just dragged on for days and days. So we just wanted to wrap this up and share with you the progress thus far. And I think it's looking pretty sharp. I wasn't sure how I was going to like that dark trim in the white bathroom. It's such a strong contrast, but honestly, it looks cool. It looks vintage. It looks rich, honestly. It just looks like it has a nice regal feel. I like it. It turned out good. Now, I'm not ready to build these cabinets yet. They're going to be the same color. We'll build those soon. It'll be 2 wall cabinets. Little by little, we'll get the space done. I think we're going to be turning our attention back to the entryway, though, because we have to continue on our wall here. We have wood on the porch to do more wall. And even if it seems a little bit chaotic, I think we're also going to start processing wood for the ceiling at the same time, because we're just buying wood as it's available. And we ran out of 12 footers out there for the entryway, but we were able to get 10 footers for the ceiling. So we're just going to bounce around as supplies allow us to work. That'll all be coming in an upcoming video, so stay tuned for that. So, thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.
See ya.